welcome back to my channel and to another video. I hope you're all doing really well. In today's video we are going to be making some Halloween socks. So these are the ones that we're going to be making. I've used a really bright HTV on them on a black sock, so it really stands out. It's a super quick and easy project, so I hope that you will enjoy this one. So without any further ado, let's jump straight on in. First things first then, let's just run through the materials, the supplies and everything that we're going to need for this project. So of course the main thing you're going to need is a pair of socks. I bought these ones from Sports Direct. I think they come in a pack of 5 for about £5, but they always have them on offer, so it's worth checking it out. They're not super like thick quality or anything like that, but they're great for a project like this. Then I have some neon HTV, heat transfer vinyl. This is just some really bright stuff that I think is going to look great against the black contrast of my socks. So I have quite a big roll of that. Then I have got my Cricut Easy Press Mini. I'm going to be using that for this project today. If you've got a bigger one or you're using an iron, you can definitely do that as well. You'll just need to adjust your times and make sure that you are pressing thoroughly enough with that. Then I have my pressing mat and of course all my usual equipment over here, like my weeding pen and stuff is all there. You're going to need a Cricut, you will need a cutting mat, and today I am going to be using the fine point blade in my machine. First thing I'm going to do then is get my socks, and I think I am going to decorate the tops of them, so the bit that's going to be on top of your foot. So this is how socks nearly always come, isn't it, when you buy them? So what we're going to want to do is just pull them out at the toe here and just flatten them out so that that top area is our design area, and this is how we are going to press along this section here. And we also want to make sure that we've got our sizing correct, so this is going to allow us to do that as well. So let's just get them both set up nice and flat like so. This looks pretty good. Okay, there is the second one. I'm going to grab a ruler and I am going to measure across my sock. So these measure about 9 centimeters across, and then up to, this is going to be like where your ankle starts here, so up to there from the toe is roughly 20 centimeters. So we know we're working with about 9 by 20 in the space. So let's go over to Design Space now and get our design put together, ready to cut out. Here we are then in Design Space. This is the project that I'm going to be working with today. So I will save these ghosts in my profile. If you want to use the same exact ones that I'm using, please feel free to. They are Cricut Access images, so there may be a small charge if you're not a subscriber, and I will pop a really short video up above now for you that you can check out if you don't know how to find a project in somebody's profile. So these are the ghosts that I have chosen, and at the moment they're pretty big. That doesn't matter at all. What I'm going to do first of all though is come over here to shapes, and I'm going to create a template for my sock. So this is one of the free shapes here, so I'm going to grab that. I don't actually know what you'd call that, a rounded edge rectangle maybe. And what I'm going to do is come over here to the width and the height section, and I'm going to unlock this padlock, and I'm going to change my width to be 9 centimeters, and then I'm going to change my height there to be 20. And this is going to now represent the shape of my sock. I'm just going to lock that padlock back up again, just so that I don't accidentally change any of those dimensions on there by mistake. So that is going to be my sock right there, and that gives me a template to use so that now I can put my ghosties on there and I can figure out how they're going to look. So let's change the colour of the ghosts to be representative of our vinyl. So we're just going to come over here, pick out that nice of lime bright green, and there we go, that is perfect. So now what we're going to do is just shrink these down. Oh, first of all we need to, did you see how that disappeared? We need to bring these ghosts both to the front, so let's just select both of those. We are going to come up here to arrange, and we're going to click on bring to front. So now when I move him over here, he's going to be on the top of my sock. So I am going to avoid this toe area here because I don't think it'll be very comfortable to have the HTV right over your toes. What I'm going to do with this one is just shrink him down a touch, and I think I'm going to also flip him round so that he's facing the other way. So this one is sort of facing to the right, and then this one is going to be facing to the left. Now they are currently 3.5 centimeters by 4.5, which is a pretty good size. This one's not far off the same. I am going to go back into images and see if I can get another image to go on here. I'm thinking about maybe some stars. I think that would be quite nice. Let's see if we can get some Halloween stars specifically. Oh, there's some bats with stars. They're quite nice, aren't they? How about we go with something like that? So let's just add that to the canvas. And again, let's change it to green so it's going to stand out a little better. And we need to shrink that down. Now, I don't think I can ungroup this because it is one whole image, as you can see over here. But because I'd like to just extract maybe this bat and this bat, what I'm going to do is just duplicate that image. And then I'm going to come over here to the pencil and I'm going to go into contour. Now, I want to use this bottom bat and this one. I don't want that one, so let's get rid of him. Which one is he? That one. Let's get rid of him, and then let's come down. Let's get rid of the middle one for now as well. If we hide this layers panel, we'll have a bit more space on the screen. So that looks quite good. Let's put him. Ooh. I'm thinking I may go back in and contour away all the stars actually, purely because I might put my own stars on, but I just want to use that bat. I think he's really cool. So let's just give him a bit of a twizzle round, and let's make him a little bit smaller, and I'm going to put him here. Now pull him down there. Or shall I make it so that this one is here and this one is here? And then maybe, yeah, that looks cool. I like that. Right, let's get rid of that. We don't need that anymore. And then I'm going to just come again into basic shapes and just get a star. And again, make it green. And I can just put as many of these stars on as I would like right now. So let's duplicate that one. Make that one teeny bit smaller. This one down here, again a little bit smaller. Duplicate again. Make it a little bit bigger. And duplicate that one again. Oops, stretched that the wrong way. Okay. What do we think? That's pretty cool. I think that is good. Let's move the template out of the way and now select everything. And then what I think I'm going to do is just attach all of that together, and now when it cuts, it should cut in exactly that formation. We're going to hide this template because I don't think I need it right now, so let's just get rid of that. And then this is what we're going to cut out. So if we go through to make now, I will save it. So Halloween socks, there we go. That should save. So as you can see, it has got that in exactly the right formation that we need. So we need to cut a piece of HTV which is around 9 centimeters by around 14. So let's go back to the desk and we'll get that cut out and on the mat and ready to go. Okie doke, let's just get this bit of washi tape off it. Do you like my washi tape? It's got spiders on it for Halloween. Let's just get that off there, put that down. Right, now one end of this I think I've already used, so I'm going to try and utilise that piece there. So let's just flip it over. So this side is the side that's got the adhesive on it. So what I'm going to do is just use this quilting square that I use all the time. This just makes things so much easier when you're cutting out vinyl, be it HTV or any sort of self-adhesive vinyl, because it's quite heavy. It always holds it down and you don't get that curling of the material that you would sometimes get. So it does make life much easier. I am just going to grab my True Control blade. So I said 14 centimeters by 9, didn't I? Let me just double check that. I don't know why. Yeah, so 14 centimetres by 9, that is about there, and then 9 centimetres is just going to be there, and then all I'm going to do is just bring my quilting square down to here, and I'll just pull that down with my blade to there. This isn't very sharp, this one. I think I need to change my blade, and then there we go, that's okay. And then come over here and just do the same again across there. There we go. Right, perfect. I'll link everything I use down below as usual for you if you want to check that out, but that quilting square is definitely one of my favourite pieces of equipment. Just going to fold this back round, roll it up again, keep everything nice and neat. Let's get that piece of washi and just stick that back onto there nicely. That is done. Okay, now let's grab the mat, and I'm just going to pop that up in the corner. I'm going to pop this up in that corner. Now you can see I've left a very small gap there at the top and on the side, and that's because, can you see these little lines that come out here? That is where your Cricut won't cut. So that is fine to do, and just leave that like that, and then that should be in the perfect spot then for your machine to cut. I'm just going to use my brayer just to give that a nice press down, make sure it's really well stuck to the mat. I should have said as well that when you're using HTV, one side of it is very shiny and the other side of it is usually quite matte, and that is how you know which way around to put it down onto your cutting mat and which way around to cut it, because it needs to be mirrored for you to cut, so we get exactly the same layer as we've got on our screen right now. So let's look at the screen. Let's get ourselves set up now then, ready to actually cut our HTV. So as you can see on the screen now, the design is there and it looks exactly like it did on our canvas, but what we want to make sure is that when it's cut out, this is the way round that our ghosts are going to be. So in order to do that, we need to mirror our design. So there's two ways of doing this. I am a big fan of mirroring on the canvas before I go through to make it, but I haven't done that on this occasion. The other way of doing it is to come down here to mirror, and you can click on that and it will do the mirroring on the canvas there for you. The other way that you can do it is by going through to continue, and you're going to choose your material that you're cutting here. So if you don't have your bookmark set up like I do here, you may want to search for the one that you're going to use by clicking on browse all materials. I'm going to use everyday iron-on for this particular design, and as you can see now, we've got this message that comes up at the top that says mirror is now on, and Design Space has automatically done that for us, and you can see that that toggle has also changed there to be active. Now that's ready, we can put this into the machine and get it cut out. Now then, it is time to weed. I did just pull this up when I was cutting it just to make sure it had cut all the way through, so I'm just going to really gently pull this back. It's absolutely impossible to see where the design is unless you've got a really bright light on it. So the bat is here. There's a star. Just take your time when you're doing this part because you don't want to tear your design. There we go, that's really perfect. Now I just need to get the eyes out of the ghost. There we go, and there is our design ready to go onto our sock. Next thing to do then, whilst we are getting set up, is just plug this in. So I'm going to plug that in over here, and the pressing settings for this particular vinyl are 160 degrees Celsius for 15 seconds, and obviously with a mini press we can't really do that, so what I'm going to do is just go for the medium setting. So I've got 2 orange bars on there, and that'll beep at me when it's ready to go. What I'm going to do then, whilst we're waiting for that to heat up, is get our socks ready on the mat. So what I am going to do is just get my sock on there. I've got a lint roller here. I'm just going to take a layer off. and I'm just going to give my socks a little roll because I can see there's some bits of glitter on there. That's hardly surprising in here. There's glitter everywhere in this room. Right, so that is nice and clean. We just need to make sure it's nice and flat again. That means that that's ready to go. So that is nice and flat. I am going to use a small Teflon sheet today, so I'm just going to put that over my sock to start with and just give this a little warm up. Just giving it a little preheat just helps to remove any moisture that might be lurking in your sock or whatever it is you're pressing, and it just helps it to get ready to take that vinyl nice and easily on there. So that is nice and pressed. What I'm going to do now is grab my design and I'm just going to place it down on my sock. And as I said, I'm avoiding that toe area, so I want to go up a little bit here. Just going to move it over ever so slightly. Now if you wanted to, and you've got some, you could use some heat resistant tape just to put it on there and hold it in place, but the backing paper of your HTV should be a little bit tacky, so it should help with that anyway. If you want to, you can give it a little press down with your brayer just to make sure it's stuck nicely. Then what we're going to do is pop our piece of Teflon back over the top, grab that press, and we're just going to press that down. And I'm not really counting the time or anything like that. What I'm going to do is just keep that moving, keep that pressure on there, and just press that until I'm happy that it's done. And I'm going to then just check what is going on with it. So this particular vinyl is a hot peel, so that does mean that what I'll do, as soon as I have taken my easy press off and the Teflon sheet off, is peel it back straight away and just see how well it's stuck. So let's give that a go now. So we're not quite there yet. Let's keep going. Oh, I have distorted a star there at the bottom, that's annoying. Try that again. That's looking good. I will peel it back, and then what I will do is just go back over it again with the Teflon in place and just make sure it's really, really well pressed down. Here's our finished pair of socks then. Don't they look fantastic? I'm going to pop them on in a second and just see what they look like, but I'm really pleased with how they've turned out actually. Another thing that you could do if you wanted to, I haven't with these because they've got a little logo on them, and I do tend to have jeans that come down to sort of my ankles, is you could put a design on the top here if you wanted to. I guess you could use a piece of vinyl to cover up any sort of logo that is on there. I did think about doing one that says this is my Halloween costume, and I'll probably do that and put it into the design that is in Design Space for you. So if you want to check that out, you can. I hope that you have really enjoyed this video and that you will make yourself some Halloween socks, and if you do, I'd love to hear about it, so don't forget to comment down below. I would love to see you for another video soon, so don't forget to subscribe. As I said, drop me any comments or questions you have, and I'll see you soon for another video. Have a spooky one. Bye!